I'm Kevin Connor. I'm a freelance technical manager, basically. So I work on TV sports and other events. And you may have known a few of them, things like Love Island and a few other bits and pieces. But my background's technical engineering, majoring mainly in sport television. So that's a brief resume of my background.
Yeah, so yesterday, Marine got drawn against Tottenham Hotspur in the third round of the FA Cup, which is a fantastic draw for a non-league club. What are the logistics with going to such a small club and broadcasting a game there?
Well, believe it or not, it's a lot easier because the ground's smaller, access is easier. You know, you look at a Premier League club where, all right, there is a lot of infrastructure already built into this ground, but the access to the ground is a lot more restricted. A small ground like that, we have a rough idea of where we're going. We're parking right by the side of the ground, and then everything's agreed. People are more happier to see TV there, obviously, because they're making money out of it. But on the whole, yeah, it's not as bad as it sounds. The infrastructure of getting signals out are different because obviously there are no connections between the ground and the world, so we have to take satellite trucks to get the connections to the world. But yeah, on the whole, it's not too different to going to a Premier League football ground.
Well, Marine's draw. Do you think that they'll be expecting the TV coverage after they've had BBC Red Button coverage in the last couple of rounds?
It's up to the producers of the programs, really. I mean, it would be nice to see them live on TV. You know, it's a small club in the lower leagues, lower end of the league or leagues against one of the big names in sport. So yeah, it's always good to see the underdogs taking on a massive club like Spurs.
And what is the thought process that producers go through to select games for television coverage?
It's the story, basically. You know, you're the journalist. You have a rough idea of why you want this to be covered. You know, Marina, where are they in eight levels below Spurs in the league? So yeah, that's the story, isn't it? You got this guy. You know, you got bricklayers and plumbers, electricians against multi-million pound earning superstars. You know, so that's the reason. You know, you've got these guys, the minnows of this world against the big guys, and it's David Goliath, isn't it? You know, everybody would like Marine to put one over on Spurs, irrespective, you know, of your allegiances. I think it's nice to see. You know, it's a spectacle, isn't it? You know, people would be talking about it forever. You know, do you remember the day when Marine beat Spurs at home? It's one of those stories, isn't it? You know.
Yeah, it really is. But then, with fans returning to not just football but all sports, does that change the way that broadcasters will have to?
Yeah, it makes life
now?
a lot easier. Yeah, it does. It makes life a lot easier. At the moment, we're using technology to enhance the coverage. So you've got pre-recorded soundtracks with from football grounds from previous matches. So. Excuse me. So what happens is that they're preloaded onto a disc recorder, and then they're played back. So a sound engineer is sitting there with a computer in front of him and a sound mixer, mixing the effects into the main program. So you got commentary, the commentators, and the match effects, the pitch effects. But obviously it sounds very very dead with no crowd in there. So they put in the special effects from a pre-recorded disc, and then put them into the main program.
Well, will 2,000 fans be enough to create enough atmosphere to come across well on TV?
Yeah, in the ground. What does a ground hold? Is it somewhere like 3,000 to 4,000 fans on normal match day? So I think 2,000 fans in a small arena like that would be sufficient. The sound engineers will make sure there's lots of microphones pointing at the crowd to pick up effects, etc. So yeah, it will make a difference, and it will certainly make a difference for the home team because they've got a partisan crowd behind them.
Yeah, and the first, if I'm recalling correctly, the first game to welcome fans back will be Arsenal's Europa League game tomorrow.
Yeah.
The plans for the Emirates tomorrow, the fans will be very spaced out, so how will they go about capturing them?
Well, again, it's all down to the sound engineers making sure they get the right mics in the right place at the right time, and therefore they will probably flood that stand. I don't know if I don't know the actual logistics of that game. Will they actually have just one stand filled with fans, which is probably what they will do, and then they'll close mic it with lots of effects from those people. The actual acoustics of the stand will actually throw audio back in, or the sound back in towards the pitch anyway. So it will we'll focus the sound, so it shouldn't be too bad. At least you have some reaction from a small crowd, if nothing else.
Yeah, and an important part of broadcasting sport is sort of portraying the emotions of fans inside the stadium as well.
Yeah.
So, say for instance Liverpool on Sunday when they face Wolves at Anfield, the plan is to have 1,500 fans on the Kop and then 500 fans in the main stand.
Yeah.
Does the fans coming back add another sort of dimension to the broadcasting sort of possibilities for the broadcasters, because they can cut away and show more of an emotion of the game?
Exactly right. You've got the cutaways, you've got the fans, you've got the oohs and the ahs and the close-ups of the fans, and especially the Kop, which is quite a vociferous and they show their emotions, don't they? I don't think you get any more emotional set of fans than Liverpool fans, especially in the Kop. So yeah, I think those shots will be there for the director to pick off, which is good. At the moment you're seeing cardboard cutouts of people sitting in stands, or big screens with a zoom, with the multi-layered outlook of fans jumping up and down in their sitting rooms. And it's different. It's different for the coverage. The directors, as I say, will be happy to see close-ups of people, reactions, emotions, etc. Young boys crying when the ball goes in the back of the net, the usual thing. I take it you're a fan yourself, so you know the emotions.
Yeah, you'd be right.
Yeah.
Well, the emotions, like you've said, that's the most important thing in a game like football. It's why people have missed the fans being in stadiums so much. But where do you think, like going forward, the plan will be now? Do you think it'll be sort of slowly introducing fans back into stadiums until it's full capacity, or do you think there'll be a point where it just sort of tips over?
Yeah, I think we're basically, the announcement has been made today that that the coronavirus vaccines available from next week or whenever has been verified by the British government. So obviously, once that takes place and more people are able to go and convene in small places, then obviously they'll introduce it, and it will make a big difference to sport. It's not just football, cricket, rugby league, all the other sports. That are desperate for these people. It's not just people coming into to watch the match. It's also the revenue driven by these. The small clubs that they're reliant on people coming through the turnstiles, because they buy pies, they buy food, they buy merchandise, etc. So yeah, that's what it's all about, isn't it? It's not just the TV revenue; it's also the income, the extra income that is generated by people coming through their front door.
Well, yeah. Just to loop back around to finish off. When Marine host Tottenham Hotspur, say they were to get chosen to be broadcasters on BBC or BT Sport, would that have a major financial implication for them?
Oh yeah, I mean it'd be a massive input to Marine, especially. I mean, the TV rights would barely cover Spurs' costs for the day, I should imagine. I think the figure is in the region about £50,000 for the rights, of which they split 50-50. With a 10% going to I believe 10% going to the FA. I could be wrong on that. I'm not too sure the actual structure of the rights of the payments, but I think that's what's happened in the past. So Marine will be earning in the region somewhere like £25,000. That's obviously massive input to their revenue, and then the extra if they win, they get an extra £82,000. So you can see the difference between a win and a loss to Marine. Spurs barely cover the cost with those figures, because their daily income, their daily outgoing must be way in excess of that. But it's good for Marine. It gets them on the map. if they have a good run, they acquit themselves well over the match. The local people will come and watch them. Any publicity is good publicity, and that will generate people through the turnstiles, I think.
Well, thank you very much for coming to speak to me. I really appreciate it.
Okay.